These are exciting times for technology and education because for the first time in a long time, education is not chasing technology. Technology actually is chasing education.
The goal for the design of these rooms was to create a space that could utilize multiple types of technologies that are very popular right now and in need. They're a combination of high flex and small group-based learning by being able to remotely send content from any display in the room.
At this point in time, 75% of the first high-flex MSA students are not within driving distance of the UNC Chapel Hill campus. What sets these new agile classrooms apart is the ability to have multiple hybrid breakout rooms in the same space. Our in-person students in these classrooms and our online students participating in the classroom can break into groups that join our in-person and online students in seamless conversations. And this has been achieved by creating multiple Zoom rooms in the same instructional space. And to the best of our knowledge, this is the first classroom on the UNC Chapel Hill campus, and I venture to say across many other institutions that has this capability. That has been transformative.
One of my favorite features is my ability to teach, but still be able to see not only my students in class, but my students on screen. I can see expressions, I can see questions with hands raised without having to attend to yet another device. I'm able to stand in my space and still see what's happening with folks on screen and also in person. I have a colleague who talks about students who are in the Zoom classroom as Zoomies, and then students who might choose to come face-to-face as roomies. I have a value to make sure that class is still one section, where it doesn't matter if you're here face-to-face or if you're on a Zoom. And so the technology allows me to put those people together in that community, no matter how they choose to access the course.
A few of my favorite features of the space would have to be number one, AV over IP. I'm somewhat of a network nerd, and so I love the fact that we can get everything configured. Now, instead of using your traditional giant chassis that take up all of this space, we're routing video and audio through network switches. So that's really beneficial because in the future, if they want to scale, add additional rooms throughout the building or the campus, it's very easy to bring those rooms online.
The project was full of a lot of unique challenges. One, just the aspect of multiple breakouts within a space that typically would be handled with one Zoom room. And now here you have multiple Zoom rooms where they're all running at the same time. So we were able to utilize the nav portion from Extron to drive that. So having that any source anywhere, plus having the network backbone, you have the foundation set.
We've got 8 individual screens in the room, 2 per wall. We've got a basic mode where you just hit the easy button and everything comes up with the same thing on screen. We've got a dual content mode where you've got one thing on the left screen on the wall and one thing on the right if you want to be able to show a couple things at once. We've got in-room lecture recording capabilities. We've got a lot of wireless collaboration devices so folks can go into breakout areas, whether that's high flex or in person, and display on the screen. Typically you would start in one combined Zoom meeting to where you have kind of an intro to your class. You'll get your participant tile view on one screen so you can see them regardless of where you're looking in the room, and then shared content or active speaker on the other. So we have an iPad up at the front of the room that you can carry around with you that controls the main room. And then there's an iPad mounted at 2 of the other screens that can be used for breakouts, and that's how those rooms are controlled. Throughout the process, working with BIAMP and KONTEK on what the audio design looked like and thinking through all of the different audio processing and cancellation and selective mics and targeting. It's beyond anything that I could have conceived on my own. It, like I say, works seamlessly. Nobody has to think about what it's doing. It just works.
With this technology, I can see them, I can interact, I can know what everyone's thinking, I can watch their faces, I can see their eyes glaze over when I'm not clear, I can see them get excited. This technology really helps me interact with the students online like they're right in class. If I want to break students into small groups and really have them interact, which is some of the most important parts of teaching, I can do that very easily by just asking students to get around different screens, to assign them to breakout rooms, and then have them engage. And that's really critically important. It's a real game changer, because in the past, I couldn't have the students online interact with the students that were physically present. When you're on Zoom, sometimes it's really easy to feel like you're not actually part of the conversation, particularly when you're looking at a bunch of people all in the same physical space. These technologies bring the people remote into the physical space in ways, frankly, I've never seen before. And so our students are able to have the same kind of conversations they would have if they're sitting right at the table. They can look at the same materials, they can talk in a small group, they can engage with people and smile and interact in ways that just weren't possible before. The more we can help people see each other, see their faces, hear the way that they're talking, to be able to look at the same materials, all of those things help people feel present with each other and with the learning. And that helps people make a better connection and ultimately learn what they need to learn. So educational technology is really going to help us bridge some divides that otherwise would prove really difficult, particularly for the people that aren't physically present with the teacher. It's just really exciting to have these rooms available for me and my students, because I know that my students are going to have to be online sometimes. I just think that's the next normal for us. And I'm confident that when that has to happen, it's still going to be a great experience for those students.
The most successful part of this was really constant coordination and collaboration between us and the school.
The school brought some vision to the project, but then KONTEK bringing expertise of the technologies available, the capabilities available, and working together was huge for me. Things got done the way they said they would get done. We felt like a priority, and I'd be happy to work with the team again.
The future of higher ed is gonna include in-person, residential, synchronous, as well as online, non-residential, asynchronous, and everything in between. But again, what's powerful and what is beautiful about HighFlex is creating opportunities where all of these students can come to campus, because that social dimension of learning, that social dimension of teaching is something we all need, and it's so important for teaching and learning, and we couldn't be more excited or happy about how it's playing out.